just that preconceived notion, that the first church had ingrained in me. And those tests pointed towards cancer. So I went and saw my doctor at Kaiser with these test results. I had like 3 different ones that pointed towards cancer. And she told me, "Oh, you don't have cancer. You're too fat." I've kind of done things differently, say from the beginning, starting at, being pregnant at 15. And the way that I went about treating cancer.
Welcome to the Citrine Path, a space for healing, transformation, and authentic connection. Join us as we explore spirituality, energy, personal growth, and the journeys that shape who we are. Light the path within and step into the conversation. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Citrine Path. So, I have some good news and some bad news. So, good news first, we have an amazing special guest. She's pretty much family at this point, coming to speak with us today. Bad news is my mom wasn't able to join us today, but I'm super excited that we have the wonderful Miss Lori here to talk with us. So, Lori, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Lori Gotelli with Farm Girl Goods. I am a mom of 8, and I homeschool, and I'm very passionate about health and wellness. And I've been married for over 30 years, and I'm just thankful to be here.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I only have 3 kids of my own, and I feel like 3 kids is way too much sometimes. I can't imagine homeschooling 8 kids, being married for 30 years, plus doing all of the other amazing stuff you do. So out of doing all of that, what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned?
Drop those expectations. The expectations you put on yourself and the expectations from others, first and foremost. When I was in the thick of it, some days were just about survival. Some days were quite interesting. Yeah, so that would be my biggest thing, is to let go of those expectations. With homeschooling, do not try to replicate the public school system. It's not going to go well. I mean, sure, there's some people that works for them, but majority do not try to replicate the public school system. You got to figure out what works best for your family and for your kids and how they learn. And that's one of the great things about homeschooling, is you can individualize and tailor the education for your children.
See, and I think that's such an amazing thing because I remember when I was growing up, I like to do hands-on stuff. Like I thrived with hands-on experiments, being able to go like dig into what we were learning. And I feel like that's something that's not achieved a lot in public school system. So I think what you're doing is super awesome, Lori.
That's absolutely. I mean, it's one way, and that's how it has to be. I mean, the teacher has 20, 30 kids. I mean, uh, they can't they just have to do it, the one cookie cutter way, which is unfortunate. But
Yeah, so if like somebody, let's say, is super excited about trying to do the homeschool thing with their kids, what would be your first step for them to say, step one, do this?
research would definitely be it. So I would first have encourage them to join Facebook groups that are local to them. There's tons of homeschool Facebook groups that are local in your area. So that way you can connect with other moms and other families that also homeschool, and you can pick their brains. And um, just every family is different, though. So don't think you have to do exactly what, that one family is doing. And the library is full of homeschooling books as well, and what is called living books. So that's not your fluff stuff. That's books on like real life that you can learn from. Like one of my sons, looking back now, I really regret this, but one of my sons loved to read. I mean, he would check out 20 books a week from the library. And he just loved to read. And he retained everything he read. And I would be telling him all the time, time to put your books away. We need to get going to school. And I wish I would have let him read his books, because that was the way that he learned best. And like I said, he retained everything. The amount of time that public schools take, you want to cut that down to like a quarter. You're going to only spend, 2 or 3 hours a day on average on school. For younger kids, it's even less, maybe like a half hour. And for your high schoolers, you might be looking at 3 or 4 hours. And we found that life is school. So there was learning experiences all the time, every day, from whether they're learning how to read a recipe to figuring out measurements for that recipe, to learning how to read a sewing pattern. And my children had experiences where they were around all ages of people, not just the same exact age as their grade. So they learned how to communicate with all ages as well.
I think that's super amazing. And I think that's a great way to, get them true life experience because I feel like that's something that is really lacking in a lot of ways in society and the school systems is not getting that hands-on real life experience of anything. I think that's super awesome. So I know you're somebody who loves learning and researching and digging into things from books and different articles. Where do you think this curiosity came from?
I think it's fun. I enjoy it. I think it's really fun. I love learning about new things, and just the information. But I think it started back nursing my kids because you'd sit there and yeah, sometimes I'd read a book out loud to the other kids or, whatever. But for most of the time, I took that time of sitting down nursing when I could, of course, with the, boatload of kids around. Um, for Before the internet was here, I would read books. And then, I'd research on my phone or, read books as well. But yeah, that's how it started. I would make that my me time as much as I could.
I love that. Yeah, because it's I remember nursing when, my kids were little, and I felt like it was just such a waste of time to like have to sit there every 2 hours. You're like, man, I could be doing so much right now than sitting here doing this. So I think that's a great way you could have used that time. I think that's really smart. So one thing I admire about you is you really live your life intentionally from your food to your products that you make and really wanting to do things different than mainstream. So when do you, like looking back, do you remember a time when this really started?
I don't think there was a specific time. It was a gradual process that certain things in my life brought me there. I guess if that makes sense. I've kind of done things differently, say from the beginning. Starting at, being pregnant at 15 and having 6 kids by the time we were 27 and homeschooling. And then my husband having a reversible, and then we're having 2 more kids at 39 and 40. And the way that I went about treating cancer, it's all been, there hasn't been like one specific moment. It's all just been a gradual process of doing things differently. And at the time, I didn't really see myself doing things differently, but I can look back now and definitely see that.
No, and I think that's really cool that you just kind of followed what you felt like was right and what was right for your family and what you felt was right for your kids and yourself. And it kind of led you just down your guys' own path. And I think it's really cool to meet like your girls and see just how content they are just to sit there and crochet and just being happy with not doing what everybody else is doing. I think it's really admiring and really cool to see such just young women just be so secure in what they're happy in doing in life. I think it's really cool.
Yes, it's something that I've been working on. So I see it more with them because it's something that I've been really working on more over the last, say, 7 years or so. Because even though I was doing my own thing and I was convicted in what we were doing, that definitely doesn't mean that we did not get much judgment and criticism from others and even from family, which was really hard. We stood our ground and continued doing what we felt was best for our family.
And I think that's something that I think is really hard because I've noticed that with my kids and the way that I'm raising them also is a lot of people think we should be doing it their way.
Mhm.
And as soon as you're not, like, it feels like you're brushing their hair backwards or something. They just can't understand. And I think it's really cool to, as a young mom myself, seeing you do things differently, being able to give me confidence and be like, no, what I'm doing is right. And that I should continue to do this because, like, I've seen your kids' outcome and they turned out pretty good. So I can't beat myself too bad.
Absolutely. You know your kids best. You know your family best. I mean, uh, no one else really does.
Yeah, so you mentioned like you living holistically and stuff. What does a holistic lifestyle look to you?
At first, to me, it was just health, your physical health. But as I grew and learned more about it, it encompasses so much more. Your mind, your spirit, emotions. I mean, it encompasses everything. It's not just so. Say like you have a headache. Instead of just going immediately popping some Tylenol, ibuprofen, you take a step back and say, okay, have I drank enough water today? Have I hydrated? Am I stressed? Did I sleep enough? Do I need to eat? So just looking at the whole big picture, that's what it is mostly. And seeing if there are alternative methods and ways to helping yourself or your family first before turning to mainstream ways.
And I think you explain that in such a beautiful way because when I've tried to explain what a holistic approach to a situation is, and I say, oh, it's mind, body, and spirit. Sometimes that's kind of a hard concept for people to understand of how does my spirit have anything to do with why, like you said, I have a headache? Like, how does that have a correlation? And I think you explain that in such a beautiful way of saying, being able to step back and look at your whole person, not just the symptom that you're having. My menace of a cat is down here eating my hair as I'm trying. Wally. Okay. How has your definition of your wellness changed over the years?
That's kind of what I mentioned just a minute ago, because it started out with just your physical health, and then as I research and learn more, it encompasses everything, everything, every aspect. I had a very heavy emphasis on the physical part, but each of them is equally as important.
What has been one of the biggest lifestyle changes that has had the biggest impact on your life?
That would be food, I would say. Well, I'm not doing very well at it right now. I kind of go through waves, where I need a break sometimes, but because I have to be extremely strict. Not that everybody does, but I have to be extremely strict with it. But I first got fibromyalgia when I was 30, and I was bedridden. Um, so we lived in like in a duplex. So I'd come downstairs in the morning and I'd lay on the couch all day. And I'd have my kids, around me on the floor trying to help, them with school, homeschooling them and stuff. And I don't know how I came across it. It was something called Hallelujah Acres, and they talked about raw foods and juicing. So I got a juicer and a blender, and I started eating all raw foods. So I had carrot juice and like salads, all like vegetables and some fruit. And it allowed me to have a life again. I was able to get off the couch and not be bedridden anymore, and actually do some things with my family. It didn't take everything away. I still had fibromyalgia. I still um, dealt with a lot, but I actually, got my life back, and it reduced my pain greatly, and
Really?
it helped immensely. So I don't juice anymore because I had gestational diabetes with my last pregnancy. So anytime I juice, it really, become pre-diabetic and stuff. But whole food plant based is what helps me out a lot now, and without the sugar and oils and salt and stuff. So I would say food is probably definitely it was the biggest noticeable change.
And I think food is such an interesting thing because it's really, I found as I've gotten older, the foundation of your whole pyramid of yourself. There's been times where we're on the road traveling and we're hungry and I'll be like, oh, here, let's just stop and get some McDonald's. And I feel like poop for like the next 3 days. Like it's because we have a huge garden and I've started canning over the last couple of years, and so we can all of our food that we're able to can. And so we'll eat on that for the winter time. And then as soon as the garden starts producing, that's pretty much all we eat. And we get beef from a local farm that, they raise themselves. They don't do any of the antibiotics, they don't do anything like that. They're just grass fed. And so that's all we've eaten for the last 3 years is just homegrown beef. And going from, homegrown food like that to eating fast food, it tears all of us up. It's pretty amazing to see the difference it has.
Oh, I love that. Yes. And that's 100%. Yeah, that's awesome. Incredible. Love
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, and even the bread. Like I've, been making all of our own bread for the last like 5 years, and it's just a starch difference.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. Oh, that's wonderful.
So, one thing that I want to make sure we highlight is your farm girl goods. So, tell us about it. How did you start it?
It started, gosh, over 20 years ago now. I bought this book that had recipes for cleaning ingredients, and I was looking for ways to save money. So it wasn't even about health and wellness at the time. I was just trying to, save some money because, stay-at-home mom, homeschooling, and my husband has always worked two jobs, if not three at times, so that I can, stay at home and homeschool them. I was trying to do my part with the budget, and so I started making these products, and the main three ingredients were essential oils, vinegar, and Castile soap. So it was the essential oils there that kind of sparked things past that. And then this was probably about 15, 16 years ago now, I had watched a documentary called The Truth About Cancer. And that was a big eye opener, really big. And that is what made it take off for sure. I Our skin is, at that time they said it was our largest organ. Now there's some that don't say, but anyways, our skin absorbs everything, and our face actually absorbs faster and more so than any other, place in our bodies besides like, maybe like our armpits and stuff like that. But and we as women, we put, well, most put many products on our face. You think about it from the time that you wake up, you're washing it, moisturizer, maybe some foundation, sunscreen, makeup. I mean, women put so many products on their face, and our skin absorbs, soaks it all up. I was very concerned about that, and having four daughters, it was started for them because I wanted them to be healthier, and I wanted better for them.
Yeah, I love that because you can tell the amount of love and passion you put into it that you're doing it for them. And I think that's super amazing. And it's funny you say that because the whole reason why I started Citrine Enlightenment was kind of the same thing. I wanted to start something that, gave people a different idea of a different way they could do things because of my daughter. And so I think that's super interesting. I didn't know that's what helped get you the passion to start. That's really amazing. So was there like you mentioned the face, is there one product that like really pushed you to want to use this as a business to share with others?
As I was learning and wanting to change things for my family, from switching to mainstream products and food to all natural and non-toxic, it was so expensive, especially with a large family. We had six kids at the time, and we just couldn't afford it. Like I said, I didn't work. My husband always worked, two jobs, but it was just out of the budget. So I am a crafty person. I love to make things. I love to create. I was like, I can make this. I can do this. And so that's what I did. I started making it for my family. And then I thought about others and how, there's other people in the same boat as myself that maybe they want to switch out their products for non-toxic things, but, they're on a limited budget as well. And so I started making it for others, and where I didn't even really make anything from it. I just wanted to help other families. But before I started selling it, I took some courses and classes to make sure that I was doing everything safely and correctly, and just to be more knowledgeable about the ingredients and products.
So, is there any products like in particular that you could say, hey, if you're wanting to get into, natural stuff, look out for these things?
So, gosh, there's just so many products, and it really depends on where you're at in life for yourself or for your kids. But I would definitely say all face products and deodorant. Oh my gosh, deodorant. The aluminum in the deodorant is terrible for you, really terrible, because your body needs to sweat. That's how you detox, number one. And number two, aluminum is very toxic for your body. And as I was saying earlier, like your face absorbs things so much quicker. And I had mentioned your armpits as well. So I would definitely say deodorant and facial products. As far as ingredients, there's just so many toxic and bad ingredients. But the first one that was brought to my attention was the sodium lauryl sulfate, because those are surfactants, so they make things bubble. It makes you think that you're getting clean or you're getting items clean or whatever, but it's one of the toxic ingredients in our products. I mean, in mainstream of products.
Oh, that like makes me think. Okay, I didn't know that.
And when our skin is wet or inflamed or like damaged, um, then it can absorb things faster as well.
Oh, so when you're washing your face and they has the bubbly stuff in it, it makes it 10 times worse.
If it has that sodium laureth and laurel, so both of them.
Okay.
Polysorbate 80 is another bad one. I mean, there's a whole laundry list of ingredients, but those are probably the first two ingredients that I learned about and was brought to my attention.
Okay, that's crazy. So, okay, so deodorant, because I know like aluminum is really bad, and I think it's like the only metal that can break the brain barrier, right? So, is like, I've heard of the native deodorant.
Mm.
What, like, have you looked into that? Do you think it's actually decent, or do you think it's just a load?
It is better than mainstream for sure. I had tried it myself in the beginning and it caused a major rash. I'm not 100% certain on this, but I want to say it has like baking soda in it. So a lot of people react to baking soda and deodorant, but I don't remember all the ingredients off the top of my head. Like I said, I tried it. I tried it probably about 7 years ago, 6 years ago.
But you're now making your own deodorant, right?
Yes, I've been making it off and on for a while. So I either make it myself or I buy this deodorant roll on from the All Natural Face. They have non-toxic makeup and deodorant. So if I don't get a chance to make it myself, then that's where I get it from.
That's super interesting. Okay. You talked about you're making these products to help your kids and help your family, right? Like originally, whenever you started doing all of this, did you ever think about doing classes to help teach people how to do this and like incorporate it in with your homeschooling stuff?
Not really. I mean, I've done some classes, but it has to be with products that don't require the stove. Which is most of them because you're melting the beeswax, you're melting the shea butter, cocoa butter, mango butter. So you need a stove for that. But I've done some where you don't need the stove for, and that's the like making the rollers, using essential oils and some quality oils to mix in with it. So I've done that before, and but otherwise, it's kind of hard. Oh, and bath salts, detox bath salts, that too, because you don't need the stove for that.
I didn't even think about the stove part of it. Let's circle back around to the homeschooling thing because I think it's just super fascinating and super incredible that you're able to balance everything. I don't understand. So, what are some of your fondest memories of homeschooling?
Reading out loud to them. I mean, I did that anyways and before, and still enjoy it. And I know many families do, especially at bedtime. But it's just something so sweet about having all your kids around you and reading to them, and then talking about it afterwards, discussing the book and getting their thoughts on it and how it came across to them. All our nature walks, we would love to go to parks and see what we could find, the flora, the fauna, the insects, the bugs. I mean, and I would say the little moments of where they ask a question and it sparks something for them, where they take a great interest, and then just seeing their love of learning take off. because from experience, public school can often kind of squash that love of learning. You're doing what you have to do. You're not able to just dive into what interests you. You know, you've got to do what you're told to do. So yes, that love of learning.
So, how do you feel that homeschooling has shaped you as a person?
When I first started homeschooling many years ago, I was like, oh, this is going to be great for their character development. You know, things are going to come out. We'll be able to work on them. And, you know, that's going to be wonderful. Woo, what a big shocker because I was not expecting to have to work on so much of my own character stuff that came up with homeschooling because you are all together all the time. And especially with many of them in different levels. And boy, your patience is tried. And you can see the flaws in your own education that you received. And so learning how to overcome that as well. But definitely the character thing, I was not expecting that for myself.
Like, what did you have to go through yourself?
Patience is a big one. It's still something that I work on now. Um, but definite patience, organization, planning, those were probably all big. The expectations that I would put on myself. And then I had learned too to not try and replicate public school. We had, for the first year, we had bought, it was called Abeka homeschool books, but it had like all of kindergarten all in one box, everything that you would need. And I remember pulling everything out and I was just so overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh. And I had three other children that they weren't doing school, but, you know, I was doing like preschool stuff with my second child. And then I had a toddler and a newborn because number 3 and number 4 are 15 months apart. So basically 2 babies. And I was like, there's no way that I can do this. There's no way. I tried though. My daughter and I did it for like a month and I was just like, oh, we were both miserable. So we dropped that and did a much more relaxed approach because that was, like I said, some people that works great for them, but it wasn't for us. So we were able to, I learned to tailor it more towards our needs, not so much public school system.
No, and I think that's super, super cool. Like, and I've seen people where they get, I think it's called like K through 12,
Yeah,
and it's like a whole school year in boxes, and they send you like printers and computers and like science experiments, glass beakers, all of this kind of stuff. I remember a family member signed up to do that, and I was overwhelmed and I had nothing even to do with it. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to have all of that, figure all of it out, plus have babies, and that's incredible. That's crazy.
it was.
So, if there was a young mom that was wanting to start like homeschooling their kids, what advice would you give her right now?
The more you know, the less scary and uncertain you'll be. So again, that's where I would say to reach out if you know any other homeschoolers or join your local Facebook groups that are homeschooling centered and the library, the books there, and just talk to as many homeschool moms as you can. And you know, like I said, don't follow exactly what that mom is doing because you need to do what's best for your own family. But that's where I would start. And I mean, there's just so much information on the internet that it can be kind of overwhelming. So just start with one thing at a time, and then continue researching and learning about it. It also depends on how you want to homeschool. There's some, I've done it all. So we've done our own thing where we filed our own private affidavit. So we were our own school. And then I have been under a umbrella school. So that's where, like, the umbrella school had their own private affidavit, but then there's families under it. So you could still do your own thing, but we were under this kind of covering from the state, you know, with the state. And then I've also done the last couple of years, we've done what's called Braintree. So it's publicly funded, and we had to turn in work to a teacher a couple times a month, and we receive funds from the school because it's through Idaho. But I was still able to homeschool. So they were still able to learn in a way that was best for them. We were still all at home, and I still got to pick out the curriculum and the books, and still got to choose the field trips and what we wanted to do and all of that. It's just there was the you know, having to turn in work every 2 weeks, and we had to meet these requirements badges is what they were called. So they had to cover certain things through the year.
That's pretty cool that they allow you to be under a school and will help like give you funding so you can go do these cool, field trips or like if you wanted to bake cookies or something as like, a class to, with the fractions and temperatures and all that kind of stuff. I think that's really interesting.
Yes. I mean, there's some hardcore homeschoolers out there that don't think that that is homeschooling still. Like what I was saying, the last couple of years we've done through Braintree. But I feel it is. I mean, yes, you're having to answer to the state, you're having to cover certain things, but you still have the freedom to choose how to do it. Your child can still have the freedom to choose to learn what's best fitting for them and the hours and the times of the day. And if you need to do it on the weekend or, whatever, I mean, there's still that freedom there. So there's all different methods of homeschooling. We've even done the unschooling. We've done, I mean, you name it. As I said, we first started out with the box curriculum and we've done everything in between from box curriculum to unschooling.
That's super, super cool. I kind of want to like shift gears a little bit. And I love how spiritually minded you are in so many different ways. So you're also a Reiki practitioner.
Mhm.
You do Qigong, is that how you say it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And you're super passionate about meditation and other healing practices. So when did you first get inspired and interested in all of those kinds of aspects?
That's also been a progression. Prayer, I would say that one has been since I was, 20s, early 20s. Things have continued through the years. It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I became familiar with Reiki. I had was actually at a homeschool book club, and my friend Rose had asked if I had done Reiki before because I have some chronic illnesses and have dealt with cancer and stuff. And I was like, I've seen it mentioned here and there, but I really don't know anything about it. And she's like, "Oh, I went to this Reiki lady in town, and it was pretty neat, pretty cool." She was telling me about her experience, and so I was like, "Okay, I'll have to check it out." And not long after that, at our town's local harvest festival, I had seen the Reiki lady that she was talking about at a booth, and she had a sign up, to like win a free Reiki session. I was like, "Oh shoot, sign me up!" Yeah. I was planning on going to see her anyways, but so I went for my first one and I had no idea what to expect, what happened, or anything like that. But after the first time I was hooked, I was like, is it okay if I come once a week? She's like, yeah. So for the first couple of months, I was there, maybe 2 or 3 months. I was there like every week, and I've been going every other week since. And I wanted to become a Reiki practitioner for myself and for my family. But the more I learned about it and did it, I wanted to be able to share with others. And so I continued with the classes for that. That's kind of the same with Qigong. I started that before. I really had to open my mind and let go of some preconceived notions about alternative methods. In my early 20s, I had gone to this church that was like super religious, super religious. I mean, where they had a trash, like there was this one meeting where they had a trash can in the front, and you were to bring all of your music and CDs and books and all of that that were not in line with what they thought you should have. I went along with it, and there went all my Led Zeppelin CDs and AC/DC and Metallica, and I threw like everything away because I thought that that's what I was supposed to do. That's what people were telling me I was supposed to do. And then we switched churches to, it was like complete opposite. I mean, there was no religion. It wasn't religious at all. It was more about your personal relationship. There comes in this girl, with like piercings all over, colored hair, tattoos. I mean, I had some tattoos too by that, before then, and I would, and like fishnet stockings. And I mean, her clothes were kind of out there. And I was like, whoa, because I just come from this super religious church that, those were all no-nos. And she gets up front, and the pastor has her share, and she had been down in San Francisco ministering and loving on those people, the homeless people all on the streets in San Francisco. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was a big eye opener for me about having judgments and just that preconceived notion, that the first church had, ingrained in me. And so that was a big growing point for myself and just a real eye opener about judgment, and that's not how I want to be, and that's not how I want to look at people. And it was just wonderful. She shared what she was doing, and it was just incredible. But so I had to still, all those years later, I still had to work on letting go of what I thought like qigong and reiki and some of the other alternative methods were, because I didn't know anything about them. And but just because they were supposedly like evil or something, but they, neither of them really have any, they don't have any religious like background. They're not rooted in religion at all. But I had to research and learn about that myself. And so I had to make sure to keep an open mind. And so that's where I started with Qigong, and then Reiki, and meditation, and still prayer, and other healing things that I thought that I would never do. But I am very thankful that I can keep my mind open, and to be open to receiving and doing some of those things that might be beneficial for myself or for my family.
I super love that. And I've met several people that, were raised in a super religious household or went to super strict churches like the first one you went to, and they have a really hard time kind of accepting kind of Reiki or chakra work or crystals or anything like that because you're right, like a lot of times they do kind of have like an occult is what I hear a lot of the times, people associate it with that kind of work. But it's kind of funny. So mom just okay, so for the listeners, the crazy Reiki lady she was talking about was my mom. And so I thought it was kind of funny. We mentioned in a couple episodes ago, you meet who you're supposed to meet when you're supposed to meet them. And
Yeah.
so Lori's another perfect example of that, of, Lori's friend went and seen my mom, passed the message to her, and then they just happened to go, to the Harvest Festival. I mean, Emmett's not very big, so it's kind of hard to miss her. But, it just all lined up perfectly. Back to the Reiki and stuff and people having like a negative thing about it. My mom actually told me that Usui, who is like the founder of Reiki, he was actually a practicing pastor
Mm,
when he found Reiki. I thought was super interesting.
that is. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you've like had an open mind and found all these different techniques and things. Have there been any practices that really surprised you and had like a big impact on your health and your life?
Besides the nutrition aspect, I would say the Qigong first. I was really surprised at how it made my body feel afterwards, how I felt energized and just light. And then I started Reiki after I had been doing Qigong for a while. And that also has had a great impact. It's something that I still see your mom every 2 weeks for, because it has helped me so much greatly. I mean, in all aspects, not just physically, but Reiki encompasses so much more than just the physical part. It can be your emotions and so much more. Anyways, and that's why I wanted to learn about it myself and become a practitioner myself, is because I wanted to help others and just share it with others.
Yeah, so for those who may not know what Qigong is, can you explain it just a little bit for them?
Well, chi is energy. So it's about specific movements that you're having energy come in through you, and also having the energy that you don't want, that no longer is serves you or good for you anymore, to releasing that and letting that out. I mean, everything has energy, and so it's just a set movements and ways to just to help that flow through, and to get rid of the stuff that no longer is good for you.
As you've gone through this path of doing Qigong and then moving into Reiki and, this journey that you've gone through, how do you balance your spiritual practice with your everyday life?
It's hard. It's hard. I have to schedule it in, honestly. I could not live without my planner, and I have to schedule it in and write it in, just the same as, appointments. Otherwise, it won't get done. So I make sure to schedule in at least one thing a day. And hopefully, I try and get more than one thing in. But even days where I'm just like so like extra busy, even just putting in some essential oils in your diffuser, and sitting that next to you and just taking 5 minutes to do some breath work and meditate, that's something. And it's short and easy. But yeah, it's hard. I have to schedule it in.
Yeah, and for those watching, Lori's planner is like a planner I've never seen before. Man, it's freaking impressive how you have everything written down, and I am like the exact opposite. I have to like pull my teeth out to make sure I write all my stuff down. So seeing yours, it's inspiring for sure. I love that you mentioned, just putting oils in your diffuser, just taking a couple minutes for breath work because Mom and I have talked about in past episodes that meditation doesn't have to be like what everybody makes it out to be. You don't have to sit in complete silence for 3 hours and have no music on and do nothing to be able to get the same benefits of it. And I love to see that, you've kind of taken that and made it work for yourself too. Because like my favorite meditation time is gardening, like weeding out my garden, because, my life is so busy. If I take 10 minutes of sitting doing breath work, I feel like I'm wasting my time. I feel like there's so much more I could do. So, me gardening, it's the weeds have to get pulled. So, if I'm taking that time to be mindful and meditate while I'm pulling, I feel like I'm doing so much more than just sitting there doing nothing.
Absolutely. Yes, you're being intentional with your time. And that's perfect, especially, with lots of little ones. And it's just turning in those everyday moments to being more intentional, like sitting there doing the dishes. You can use that time to meditate or do your breath work as well. Just making the most of what you have for sure. I mean, I do diffuse essential oils because when I wake up pretty early and I like to just sit on the couch and have my coffee. And so that's when I'll do a lot of start the diffuser up and, we'll do the breath work and stuff or take a few minutes to meditate as the house is quiet and I'm by myself. But, many years it hasn't been like that. So just being intentional with when you're able to that's awesome.
Like we've talked about, you love researching
Hmm.
all of this kind of stuff. What have you learned about taking your own health and your family's health into your own hands?
Oh boy. I mean, you have to. I have learned very personally that you cannot really count on like your mainstream providers. You really have to advocate for yourself and learn as much as you can about whatever it is, so that you can advocate for yourself better. Well, I am very thankful and appreciative of doctors and so forth. I mean, they are wonderful, and we need them. They are only taught so much, and nothing alternative, unless you go to school like to be a naturopath or something. But your mainstream MDs, they're not taught really about nutrition. They're not taught about alternative ways. They are taught to put a band-aid on it. And they're not taught to search for the root issue. They're not taught to look at the whole big picture. And so I feel like you have to advocate for yourself and you have to learn about it as well. It's the first time I had cancer, I was seeing a chiropractor and he had ordered some tests for me and those tests pointed towards cancer. So I went and saw my doctor at Kaiser with these test results. I had like three different ones that pointed towards cancer. And she told me, "Oh, you don't have cancer. You're too fat. If you had cancer, you wouldn't be so fat." And I was just like, "Are you kidding me?"
What?
I mean, yeah, yes. And so that was a big eye opener moment for me. Um, that I was just like, okay, I've got to do this myself. So I was like, forget, mainstream doctors. I went and found some alternative. I found an alternative oncologist and a doctor that he's an MD, but also like a naturopath, a holistic doctor as well. So you could combine both those, and which was fabulous for me. It worked really well.
I cannot believe that lady said that to you. That's insane. I
Yeah,
can't, like, my brain can't get past that.
yeah. I was
Like,
like, okay. It didn't matter that I had like three different tests here. Blood tests that showed that there was, of course, more needs to be done besides blood tests, but that she wasn't even like going to go, oh yeah, this points towards it, so let's go, do XYZ.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it
That's
was
so crazy.
mind blowing for me at the time.
Whenever, like, that, you met with that second doctor. What did you do yourself to really start improving your own health?
Again, food was a major one. When I was seeing the alternative oncologist, she looked at things as a whole. So we found out that there was a lot of things going on that I also needed to address in order for my body to do what it's created to do, which, normally is to heal yourself. Normally everybody has cancer cells, but your body keeps them in check. But if you're unhealthy, then those cancer cells are going to grow. So we had to address many different issues along with that as a whole, like your hormones, I mean, everything, and prioritize sleep. I remember one of the things that she told me, if you do not sleep, you're not going to get better no matter what we do. And so sleep is a key, so key, because that's when your body heals and repairs itself while you sleep. So food and sleep, I would say, are two big guns.
I know you have like super cool mat that like sends the UV rays or what is that mat thing that you have?
Hemp mat, and it also it does red light, and it actually has crystals in it, a few different ones, which I just love. And then it does something else, and I can't. Proton, is that what it is? Proton. I think so. So I use that in part of my home care stuff that I do. That's something that I do, and then I bring it sometimes with when I see your mom when she does Reiki on me, and so it's kind of like a triple action there, with the Reiki and the PEMF and the red light and the proton. So and it's super relaxing too. I love
So
that.
what does the red light and stuff do? Like how what does it do?
Like for example, like your inflammation, it helps inflammation, and if your body's inflamed, then I mean you're not going to heal. You've got to bring down the inflammation in your body for it to get better. So that's one of the things that it helps.
That's super interesting. Okay.
It does a lot. Like I made sure to invest in home health stuff that would do more than just like one thing, that would encompass multiple, or it would benefit you in multiple ways. So that's one of them. And I have a sauna, and I have an ionic foot bath that is detoxifying. And I do coffee enemas. Let's see what else. And then the mat, the qigong. I do that at home too. And then I see your mom for Reiki. And then, of course, I use essential oils and take a lot of supplements and stuff. I used to do IV ozone therapy, but my veins are pretty shot from that. So I don't do that anymore.
Okay, so rewind, girlfriend. Coffee enemas. Like what in the world? Like as soon as yeah.
Okay, but it's not coffee that you drink though. It's coffee that's like specifically for coffee enemas. And I've been doing those 3 times a week for gosh, like almost 8 years now. I mean, I've taken some breaks and stuff, but yeah, it's okay. So it helps with your liver,
Okay.
yeah, and your kidneys too. But it helps them to work better and to detox because my body does not
Oh.
detox on its own. So I have to do these things, help my body detox from our daily toxic soup that we live in.
Okay, okay. So my mom and I has like our whole family has historically just crap kidneys. So I have to focus a lot on making sure like I'm drinking enough water every day, making sure that like I take a lot of juniper berry and stuff like that to help with the function of my kidneys.
Mhm.
Um so the coffee enemas it helps them detox better or does it like help them process everything the way they should?
Kind of both. It so you want to hold it in if you can for like 15 minutes because it takes 15 minutes for it to cycle through. And then that's the ultimate time for it to process the coffee, and the coffee helps your liver and kidneys to dump those toxins. So it's not necessarily the coffee itself that does it, but it makes your organs helps your organs to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so you said it's not like regular coffee, so we're not just like brewing a couple Folgers. Okay, so like what kind of coffee is it? Like,
Well, I use the Wilson's brand, and it's coffee. It's like a very light brown. It's kind of like a tannish color, and it's organic. It's specifically for coffee enemas. And then I have, a bucket that's specifically for coffee enemas as well. And you boil it on the stove for like 5 minutes or whatever, and let it cool down to room temperature. And then you just have some me time in the bathroom. So
oh,
if you're not able to hold it for 15 minutes, that's fine. You just try and work your way up the more you do it. So even if you can hold it for like 5 minutes or whatever, it's better than say nothing. And the more you do it, the more you can, work up to 15 minutes.
that's so cool. Okay, so it's like my ADHD brain just reminded me of this. Have you ever seen the show My Strange Addiction?
No.
Okay, it's a wild show, first off. Second off, there's actually a couple that were on an episode of that show, and they got addicted to coffee enemas to the point where like they had to quit their jobs and like they were losing their house and everything.
That's crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess I'm addicted to anything, right?
yeah.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
I wrote that down so I could check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, they like got addicted to the fact that they like got a burst of energy after the fact or something.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely feel good afterwards. I mean, you feel clean, but I mean, but not in that way. You just feel lighter. You just feel, more energized. I mean, but oh my gosh, I can't imagine that. But I mean, I do it like 3 times a week.
Yeah, well, you'll have to watch that episode and let me know what you think about it because it's kind of crazy. But I mean, caffeine is technically like they say it's a drug, right? Because it changes the compounds in your brain. So I could imagine how if you like had more in your body, you would feel more energized and feel happier and
Hmm. Yes. So even for people that are sensitive with caffeine, they can still do coffee enemas. It doesn't make you jittery. You don't get like that coffee caffeine kind of effect, I guess you could say. I mean, you get energized. It's in a different way. So it's not because like you drink coffee. It's different. If that makes sense. You don't
yeah.
after the coffee wears off.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, because like I've had 2 cups coffee today and I'm sure everybody could tell because I'm kind of batter yeah, motor mouth running. Yeah. So that's super interesting. If somebody watching got a cancer diagnosis of their own, what would you say, like, what advice would you give them?
That's a hard one, honestly. Not really, but kind of. When you're diagnosed with cancer, some people already have their mind made up, where they don't even want to hear anything alternative. They don't want to hear anything else. They only want to listen to their oncologist. They believe that that's the only way to go. And when they're like that, it's kind of hard to get them to be open to anything else. So with that, there are still other things like the food, although the oncologist will say the food doesn't matter, but it 100% absolutely does. Food, essential oils, those are probably two things that could help them while they are still doing whatever their oncologist wants them to do, um, and that could make a big impact. I would say for them to research alternative ways, and if they would be open to hearing about some other alternative ways. Because just like chemotherapy and radiation, it doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't work for most, honestly. Um, there's not one alternative way that's going to work for everyone. I myself have had to do several different things. And the last time I had it, we would have to change things up like every 3 or 4 months because my body would just like get used to that, and it would stop working. So we'd have to switch things up. Breathe. Just tell them to breathe. And that it is not a death sentence. You can you can overcome and you can heal from it. It just depends on if they want to put in that work because it is a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot financially as well. But it's very sensitive, very, very sensitive. I have come across, learned that myself, not necessarily, with myself, but with others that have had it, and I've tried to share with them. Sometimes it didn't go over very well. There's other things out there besides chemotherapy and radiation that work better and that don't make you sick as a dog, either.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting, like your experience through your life because, I've always heard about, people taking frankincense and how it's had, marvelous impacts into, people's health and like the tumor shrinkage of certain cancers and all of this amazing research they've done. I don't think anybody was willing to roll the dice on trying it for themselves. Does that make sense?
100%. Yes.
Yeah, because, I cannot imagine, being told like if I had cancer. Like I don't even know if I could get my brain wrapped around it to even figure out which way was up. Like that's such a scary thing to start with. And then when you have nothing but, doctors who have spent years in oncology and in this industry telling you this is what you need to do, I feel like that would be so overwhelming than to try and think for yourself of what do you want to do instead of just listening. So, seeing what you've done for your health and seeing the impact you've been able to do, I think is quite amazing to see.
I also had, I will say it was easier for me because, years before that happened, I had watched that documentary, The Truth About Cancer. So my eyes were opened up big time watching that. And then, like a year after I watched that, one of my dear friends was diagnosed with breast cancer, and was going the alternative way. Not she wasn't doing any mainstream stuff. I mean, she did get a mammogram and a biopsy and stuff, but after that, she was doing alternative treatments. And it was about a year after that is when I found out that I had cancer. And so she was just a wealth of information for me, and the support as well. I mean, so it was just, so I didn't have to do, I mean, of course I researched things, but a lot of the work was already kind of say done for me in a way. I didn't have to start from scratch. I had this dear friend that had already been doing things. She spent much time with me, helping me and stuff. So I had that. I had that, and most people don't. That was huge. It was a big blessing for me.
Yeah, that's super amazing that, you guys were able to kind of go through this together and kind of have a partner and, research new things and bounce things off each other. I think that's such an amazing thing. And the true definition of community and having a village is moments exactly like that.
It was. And then after a while, I would try something or learn about something, and I'd be able to share it with her, and it was good.
So if anybody had any questions, let's say, for example, like they were wanting to get into looking alternatively, what would be your first step of, hey, look up this one person? Or you mentioned that one documentary. Is there like a book that you really loved or anything?
Um, I have read so many books. I do have a few favorites. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. Um, but I could share them with you, and or I could put them in the comments later.
Perfect.
But it really depends on like what area in their life that they're wanting to focus on first, to where to start with. So that would be different for everyone. I mean, because there are some like a general, but most of the books I've read are like specific, especially for the cancer ones. Or is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, I was talking about, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, I have a few that are favorite. I've read a ton, but I can post those in the comments. One of my, one of my, one of the ones that made a big impact in the beginning. He has a couple of books now, but he didn't at the time. But his name is Chris Wark, Wark. He has kind of like a protocol, I guess, a program for helping you with cancer, and even if you don't have cancer, about preventing cancer. He had like this free week long class that he did, and I learned heaps from that. And I incorporated a lot of his recommendations into my routine. And so that was very very beneficial because he covers in his program he covers like everything from like sleep supplements to alternative methods to food to your emotions and spirit. I mean, I would say that'd be a good place to start. Because every year he does it for free. You can buy it too, but he airs it for free every year.
Oh, that's super cool. Now is one of my favorite parts of the whole episode. We're gonna do the Citrine Path lightning round, where these are the 5 questions we ask every single guest that they come on. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. So, what does walking your path mean to you?
The first thing that popped in my brain is courage. Courage. Having the courage to walk that path, and to do what you feel led to do. It means personal freedom to me, I think. Because I mean, no matter what you do in your life, you're going to come against criticism and doubters and naysayers, and but you still have to follow and do what you feel led to do. So that personal freedom of letting that stuff go and just keep on doing you, keep on going.
Okay, so what spiritual practice grounds you most?
Praying and meditating, I would say.
Okay, what is one lesson the universe keeps teaching you?
Hmm, patience. That's been lifelong. Uh,
Do you have a favorite spiritual tool like crystals and a tarot deck, anything like that?
I start and end my day with gratitude. So while I'm laying there in bed, so when I wake up, before I even get out of bed, I start with gratitude and just first off gratitude that I woke up for another day, um, and and then going from there, and then ending my day just thankful that I had that day with my family, and then continue on from there. Listing and thinking about all the things I'm grateful for. So
I love that.
probably the
That-
biggest one.
Yeah, that's such a beautiful thing to do. And I started a little bowl. I tried my best. It didn't last very long, but I had a little bowl. And I told my husband that anytime that we had something we were grateful for in the day, we would put a little token inside the bowl, for us to remember what that was. And then the end of the year, we could look back at every token that we found. Yeah, it lasted like a week, if that long. But I mean, it's a thought that counts, right?
Yes, it sounds like that would be just incredible. It's on the end of the year going over everything. Yeah.
Yeah, if I could actually follow through with it. Do you have a current life mantra or affirmation?
One that I've had for a little while now, is I am worthy, because most of my life I have felt not worthy. So that's something that's probably the last few years, reminding myself that I am worthy.
I love that. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming and sharing about your health journey, about your kids, all of your wisdom. I just want to make sure I say thank you so much for coming and spending time with me. Is there anything that you hope anybody watching took from this episode?
I would say to not let other people's judgment guide or direct you in your life and what you do and with your family and your kids, because they're not you. There's always people that are going to judge you no matter what. So even if you change something to please someone, there's going to be somebody else that is going to judge you for it. So you do you. I spent many years too worried and consumed, about dealing with judgment, because I've had a lot of judgment throughout my life, from getting pregnant at 15. It's been pretty constant. And I wish I wouldn't have cared so much. I wish I would have just let it go and done my thing. So that would be it. Just to not let other people's judgment guide or direct you.
I think that's such a beautiful message, Lori. Like you have your farm girl goods. How can people find you? How can people get some farm girl goods?
There's a Facebook page named Farm Girl Goods, and my email, which is just Lori Gotelli at gmail.com.
And I'll put the link of that in the description. So anybody, if you're interested in looking her up, I'll put it right down there. Lori, thank you so much. For everybody watching, thank you for coming and spending time with us today. I'm so excited to see what we're going to talk about next week. But until then, Have a wonderful and fabulous week. Thank you for walking the path with us. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and keep following your light. The views and experiences shared on Citrine Path are for educational, inspirational, and entertainment purposes only and are not intended as medical, psychological, or professional advice.